if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will. So his first request is, if it's possible, Father, grant that the cup. Now, I think the cup here is the 18 hours of horror he's about to face, the totality of it. The physical torture, the abandonment by his disciples, the turning away of his Father, the bearing of the wrath of God, the whole horrible what he's about to walk into. And his request is, acting out of his own human, ordinary, understandable, sinless distaste for pain, is there another way? Could the cup pass without drinking it? If you can't, I'll do it. But can it? So his first strategy in the battle was to ask that he not have to drink the cup. Second prayer says, if this cannot pass unless I drink it. That makes no sense in relation to the first prayer. The first prayer was, not drinking it is how it passes away from me. Here, it passes away from me by drinking it. If this cannot pass unless I drink it, well, that's a funny way to say it if the first prayer is just being repeated. It's not just being repeated. Something has happened between the first and the second way of doing battle. In the first way is, I would like victory by not having to drink it. The second way is, I would like victory by drinking it. And I'm going to need your help, oh God, for me to be obedient to your will and your cause and mission to triumph through my drinking it, because in myself, I cannot do this.
So my question is how in the world did Jesus go from saying, Father, if there's any way that I can accomplish this mission without drinking this cup of suffering, to, okay, the only way that I'm going to be able to accomplish this mission is through drinking this cup of suffering? You know, there was a huge swing there. Something happened. And so John Piper points out in the scriptures how this went down. But one thing I want to point out is Jesus was extremely vulnerable in this moment. He was at a point of major weakness. I mean, he was in a real battle, and Jesus' humanity was on full display.
What happened between prayer number 1 and prayer number 2? There are 2 pointers that I see. Here's Hebrews 5:7. Jesus offered up prayers and supplications with loud cries and tears to him who was able to save him from death. And he was heard. He was heard because of his reverence. God answered that prayer. Some people read this and they read that and say, well, he didn't save him from death. So that prayer wasn't answered. He died.
Paul is saying very clearly what Jesus did in the garden. Jesus was pleading with the Father to come to his aid. He was crying out to the Father to come to his side in this moment of weakness. And it says Jesus' prayers were heard by God. And so you and I can look at this and say, what do you mean? There's no way. I mean, look what ended up happening. He got arrested. He ended up going to his death. And it looks like his prayers weren't heard. But here's the point. You and I, sometimes we pray, and we pray for our trials and our problems and our suffering to be taken away, to be lifted away from us. And when they don't go away, we just think, God doesn't hear us. He's not there. But here's the deal. God is listening. He hears our prayers. And sometimes he needs and he will allow us to walk through the fire to grow us. He will allow us to walk through the fire to refine us, to accomplish his mission.
Luke 22:43. So in Luke's account, after the first prayer, we read this. There appeared to him an angel from heaven, strengthening him. Matthew doesn't make any mention of this angel at all. But he tips us off. Something has changed between prayer 1 and prayer 2. There appeared to him an angel from heaven strengthening him. What would that angel have said to the Son of God? The Father wants me to remind you there is no other way. So your prayer not to drink it will not be answered. But I am here to strengthen you. And Jesus is going to say in just a minute, the flesh is weak, but the Spirit is willing. He meant his and theirs. He didn't have any different flesh than we do. Same skin, same weariness, same hatred for pain.
Just as God strengthened Jesus and helped him endure to the end, he is going to help us in the same way. We cannot be afraid to step out and face the fire because we are afraid of discomfort, because we are afraid of pain, because we are afraid of even death. Imagine if Jesus ran from the garden. Imagine if he ran from the mission that he came here for. Our life would look a lot different today.
God answered his loud cries. I will save you from death. Death did not defeat you. It didn't defeat you on the front end. It didn't defeat you on the back end. You conquered death on the way to it and after it.
So here's the deal, my friends. If you are an obedient follower of Jesus, trust me when I tell you that he is going to show up. He is going to lead and guide and direct your steps. And sometimes he may direct you down a very uncomfortable path. But along the way, he will be with you. He will strengthen you. He will help you to endure to the end. And trust me, when you follow Jesus's mission, what comes out on the other side is going to be success. And it's going to be success for his glory.